Alright people, we are nearly there. Week 5 of lockdown is over and done and in the past. So we're well over a month of this now. There's no coffee cup this week because I realised how wildly I gesture with my hands sometimes and I might forget I've got the coffee cup and just end up like chucking it all over the place. I don't actually really want to do that. I don't want to make more work for myself. So after 5 weeks of lockdown now, everyone kind of seems to be in a flow of what to do and what to get through and things like that. And I've got to admit, I started running out of ideas for what to do for these lockdown diaries. But there was one thing that kind of came to my mind this week. I've realised that this is the first week where I've really kind of started to feel the effects of isolation from friends and family. Now obviously there were a lot of people that kind of started feeling this way sooner than I have. So to give a little bit of insight, this week I did a virtual pub quiz, as I do most weeks, but this week I did a video chat with some friends of ours to do it along with us. And it made me realise 2 things. Number 1, it has been a long time since I have seen physically in the real world some friends of mine, and that really kind of made me realize how much I've missed hanging out with them and missed seeing them and missed having that kind of face-to-face interaction, whether it's through video calls or through the real world or whatever. You know, you do realize how much you miss socializing and seeing friends after a while, and particularly 5 weeks of it. But number 2, it made me realize just how grateful I am for the technology that we have right now that is able to bring us together in this fashion. If something like this had happened maybe 10 years ago, it might have been a little bit more difficult for us to do this. The internet might not have been quite as strong as it is now. People wouldn't have had such fast connection speeds. There wouldn't have been so many outlets for people to video chat or communicate through to make these things easier. You know, I wouldn't have been able to pull up YouTube on my TV at the same time as having a video call on my laptop so that we can do all of these things together and interact at the same time. 10 years ago, you might not have been able to hold a Netflix watch party with your friends and family all at the same time. And I think really that's kind of what I wanted to get across in this video, is maybe kind of the gratitude that I have for the technology and the outlets and the means of communication that we have that has made something like this bit more bearable. And that maybe showing now that the internet and internet connections and fast connection speeds and 4G and 5G and everything like that, maybe these are not luxuries. Maybe these are necessities. Maybe these are utilities. And that having access to information and communication and outlets of these kinds is now a necessity. And even more so, to a 100% degree more, for people who are having to work at home at the moment. If the people that are currently working from home did not have the means to do half of this stuff by, that should absolutely show that the internet is a necessity. It should be a utility, not a luxury. But that's basically kind of a roundabout way of saying I am very, very grateful for having the means of connection to my friends and to my family. That means we can feel maybe less distanced from one another in times like this. It's made me quite grateful to perhaps my service providers above all, but also to the rate at which technology has kind of caught up to our needs, particularly in times like this. So will I be taking advantage of this and holding more things like group chats for pub quizzes or watch parties or maybe doing virtual outings together as a group, so everyone goes and sits in the garden and we all have like a barbecue together or something like that. I don't know, but absolutely having the means to do that means that there is something comforting about being in isolation but still being able to interact with all of your friends. So I want to hear from you out there. What interesting things have you been doing? What have you been hosting? Have you been hosting some nights out, some watch parties, some quizzes as part of group chats? I want to know exactly what you've been doing to bring everyone together in a communicating manner, what kind of events you've been holding. List them all in the comments below. And I do also have to say, this week was Amber and I's anniversary, so we did have a very nice evening in together. We kind of decorated the house a little bit, put on some nice clothes. I took some advice from last week's video from friends I'd seen doing something similar, and I managed to make a whole night of it and it was really, really nice. So if it wasn't for my friends putting up ideas for how they'd been holding their own celebrations and making special evenings and what they'd been doing, I think I probably would have been lost for ideas. So thank you very much for all of those ideas. So on this week's subject of gratuity and gratefulness, what is it that you have been most grateful for in this time of lockdown? Is it your internet connection? Is it Netflix? Is it the people around you who have been maybe dropping supplies off to you or anything like that? Whatever you're most grateful for, pop it into the comments below. Let's talk lockdown. As always, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here and you would like to see some more, particularly of these lockdown diaries, and you want to suggest some things for future lockdown diaries, you can subscribe right here and see some more funky fresh videos from yours truly. And until that point, it's always good to remember the little things in life, even if the little things are those 5 bars of signal you have on your Wi-Fi.